Back to the ETF Inspector. It is Wednesday, June 4th, and Wednesday means it's declaration day for YieldMax funds. This is the video coverage for the 7 monthly income strategy funds that we cover in this video series. But today, since it's declaration day, we will just real quick go through all the information that YieldMax put out, just in case you have funds that I don't cover with video. So they rank them, they just list them out from highest dollar amount to lowest. It may not be the highest percentage annual yield based on the different fund prices. So at the top was Winter at 307.25 cents. So a little over $3.07. I won't go into the far fractions. SIMSY, $1.57, almost 58. Misty, a little over $1.47. That's obviously the big popular one. I have shares as well. XYZY, a little over 87 cents. AMZY, that's one of the ones we cover in our fund video coverage, 59.55. So we'll see how we did with our guesstimate. DISO, 55, almost 56 cents. LFGY, we've got video coverage for LFGY and ULTI. They paid a little over 46 cents. Chippy, 34.5 cents. AIYY, just over 32 cents a share. APLY, another one that won't be in this video coverage, a little over 31 cents a share. GPTY, close to 30 cents a share. YQQQ, 26.5 cents. QDTY, a little over 23 cents. SDTY, just over almost 22 cents. RDTY, just over 21 cents. YMAG, 20.89 cents. YMAX, 17.21 cents. And ULTI, 9.45 cents. So obviously it says weekly next to it. They're the weekly payers. The rest are every 4 weeks. So we call them monthly, but really you get 13 sets of 4 weeks in a year. So you get this every 13 times a year, not 12. So that also helps with the annualized yield. But like I said, I highlight AMZY because they're one of the Group D payers. Just in case you ever want to look this stuff up yourself, YieldMax's website. You can go to our ETFs, all the individual, like Teslas, Apples, everything like that. Each one's got its own page. ULTI is the Ultra ETF one, and the other video, LFGY, covers them as well. If you ever want to see the distribution schedules, they're right there under the education if you want to see when the next time you're getting a distribution. Okay, so let's take a look at how things did. We don't make these videos every day because the call them monthlies, they don't necessarily trade every day. So I don't want to keep on making videos where I just read you all the information and then say no trades, no trades, no change. Okay, so I make a week look ahead over the weekend. I make a Wednesday declaration day video for this series. And then I make a Friday closing bell. So see how they ended the week, closing out their trades, whether they made money or not. Okay. So AMDY went up 1.08%, and the YieldMax fund went up 0.8%. So captured nearly 80%, probably 70 something. Amazon up almost 0.75%. AMZY up 0.5%. Apple lost 0.22%, and APLY lost 0.38%. Meta had a big day, up over 3%. And FBY was 2.7% up. Alphabet's Google up 1.13%, with YieldMax's fund up 0.91%. Microsoft up 0.19%, nearly flat, and MSFO the same, 0.12%. Finally, Netflix, another big day, 1.78%. I know 1 to 2% doesn't sound like a big day when we talk about these other funds moving 20, but for Netflix, that's a big move. And NFLY up a little over 1%. All right, we'll take a look at the individuals. We'll go in alphabetical order. So starting with AMDY. I try to get through the ones that aren't the paydays this week a little faster. So they just paid out on last week. So you got 21 days till your next declaration. There's $144 million being managed in this fund. There's an increase since our last video of 125,000 shares, bringing it up to 19.2 million. Their synthetic position is it's a combination of sold puts and purchased calls at the exact same price, 110 being the price. It's currently worth almost $10 million. So when that gets closed out, that will go towards your distribution for whichever month the closeout happens to be in. Probably won't be in this one by June 25th. They've got calls at 116 and 119 with they do call spreads, so then they purchase calls on the other side of them just to protect it in case the stock goes up too much, similar to what it's doing. And I think I should have started on the trades because they ended up closing those out. So trades on Monday, or let's see, Tuesday. They no trades on Monday. They traded on Tuesday. They closed out their 114s and sold 119s. And because the stock had gone up too much, overall losing $1.1 million in trading on Tuesday. And then today they closed their 116s and moved them up to 121s, again losing $1.5 million. So it is not a good start, right? Last week was when things started. They made about $875,000 in trading on the first week, and they have already lost $2.7 million in trading in the first 3 days of this week. Okay, so those 116s that were in the money are no longer, and the 119s are getting pretty close to at the money. All right, we're going to go to AMZY, but let's look at trades first. Okay, there were no trades today. We'll get back. AMZY declared today, so to see today, declaration day, 59.55 cents. That comes out to almost 48% annualized. If you watched my guesstimate video, I did caveat it by telling you I didn't have a full month's worth of data. So since I was incomplete on the data, I went with the IV, which is what they're supposed to shoot for. 29% times the fund price divided by 52 payments would have came out to 35.63. So that was kind of the low end of what we were looking at. We knew they did okay in trading, but without without the full scope of information. I didn't want to make too big of a guess, so I just said 40 cents. So you were pleasantly surprised with a 50% higher than that. Obviously, next month when I have the full set of data, I should be able to do better. And if not, you can get a return on your money that I charged you to watch the video. The fund is worth $265 million. There's 16.55 million shares. Their synthetic position is at 185, set for July 18th, and that is currently very valuable, nearly $28 million worth of valuable. So it's worth over, I might start adding a tab here just so we can talk about, I haven't decided yet. So the synthetic alone, when they close it, based on the amount of outstanding shares right now, is worth $1.69 in the distribution. Obviously, this will change in value throughout the time. Shares may go up, whatever, but that's worth a pretty penny when we talk about the fact that we just got a 60-cent distribution. And I am in this fund when I say we got. So whenever this gets closed out, so long as the stock price doesn't drop, it's going to be a nice distribution. We'll be looking forward to that. They have Friday calls at 207.50 and 210, with pretty much all of them at the 207.50. 12,695 contracts. They are nearly at the money. So, but this will be a perfect ending if we closed Friday, staying out of the money, these will go down to pennies, and we will get to keep the vast majority of the premium collected from selling them in the first place. Okay. APLY's the next one. We'll look at trades first. I apologize. I forgot to correct the size. Okay, so APLY had trades today because the stock price went up above their call strikes, so they closed out their 202.50s. They had 6,230 contracts. They made out better closing this set at 352 than they did at the other set at 435. But overall, sold new ones for next week. So these are pushed out till next week now at 212.50. Overall loss of a little under $1 million on trading today. Okay, APLY, again, part of Group D. They declared today. We got 31.19 cents per share. That comes out to just under 31% annualized. My guesstimate from the video was based on the IV, and I said 29.92 cents. So I was off by 1.2 cents. If I'm doing that right, I might not be doing that right, but either way, less than 2 cents. I missed it by, so not bad. But again, I didn't have the full information, so I was never really standing by that too much. I said this is the best I can do. But there's $128 million managed in this fund. There was an increase since our last video of 150,000 shares, bringing the outstanding shares up to 9,650,000. What else do we want to talk about? The synthetic. This one's looking ugly. If you watch Retire on Dividends, I don't know if he'd call this a gold digger yet. Probably not. But it's negative. It's looking like, unless Apple sitting at 202.82 at close today, unless Apple gets over 210 within the next couple weeks, June 20th, and they might close this out before then. They are going to actually have to pay to close it out. So the call portion of it that they get to sell is worth less than $1.5 million, and the put side of it, as you see, negative contracts. Right, you can't end with negative contracts unless they're gonna they expire worthless or end up in some sort of assignment, but that won't be the case. So we have to pay to close these, and they're going to cost $5.3 million. So that's a negative almost $4 million value right now. So we're in a tough spot because we need Apple to get up over 210 before June 20th, but at the same time, we needed to stay under our call strike prices that we're selling. And we did say that these got closed out 202.50s and went up to 212.50s for next week. So we can afford to get halfway. Well, no, to get all the way there. Yeah, so they're positioned to where they can afford to, if these go up and become valuable, they won't necessarily be hurting on their call side. So I like the move today. Not that they care what I like. Okay, Meta. So they had trades on Monday. Since this is the first video since the weekend, we'll talk about that. Meta had a big day Monday. Blew through the calls that were sold, as you can see. But we start out with, they had to close the 655s and pay $17.74 a share. 610 contracts, 100 shares per contract. They also had to close out 652.50s, which were even further in the money at $18.93. And they closed out their 657.50s, which were in the money at also $18.53. I think I said $18.93. So they moved them up to $680, $690, and $690. Better position himself, try to make some more money, just going ahead and taking the loss. But it was a heck of a loss. Almost $3 million loss in trading on Monday for FBY. They are part of Group B, so they will declare in 2 weeks from now. There's $164 million managed in this fund. Meta is currently at $687.95, which is nicely above the 660 strike price on the synthetic position or combo. That's out till July. It's currently worth $2.6 million. There's 10 million shares, so dollars per share. Comes up a lot smaller than that other one we talked about. Can't remember if that was AMZY or I think that was AMZY. So they have 680s that are currently, calls sold, and 690 calls sold, about triple the amount in the 690. So that's nice. Those are 0.3% out of the money, but the 680s are 1.16% in the money. So for the maximum amount of profit of getting to keep the premium collected, we need Meta to end below 680 on Friday. Okay. That's it for Meta and FBY. Let's see if GOOY had trades. They did. GOOY traded every day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Monday, they had more money come into the fund, so they added to their synthetic position July 18th. What is that, 160? Yep, July 18th, 160. And then they created the synthetic position with 200 more contracts, and then they sold 200 more contracts on 172.50 calls and bought the insurance at 177.50, collecting, or actually losing 186,000. But that's only because, so they, obviously make money starting a new credit call spread, but because their synthetic is already profitable, making money, when they add to it, they're buying into it at the more expensive price. So that's where you're looking at this loss, but it wasn't really a loss in trade. Hope you understand that. On Tuesday, they closed their 175s because the price went down, and they opened 170, so getting more aggressive, trying to make some more money, made 168,000, almost back what they lost buying in on Monday. And then today they lost 100,000 even. Wow. Again, adding to their synthetic position, so again more money came in. So that's going to cost them, because it's already well in their favor. So then to try to buy further into that, that's why it costs money. They went ahead and added to their position 172.50. They closed their 175s and went ahead and changed them to 172.50 as well. So overall lost 100,000, but it's really only because of the cost to add on to the synthetic position. They are part of Group A. GOOY is GOOY. They declare next Wednesday. Currently have a July 18th 160 on their synthetic combo. It's worth $4.7 million. So ballpark, without running it, it's worth 50 cents a share. There's 9.8 million shares now. There's been 225,000 added since our last video. As with all of these, the vast majority of the money is actually in treasuries. So it's not like some of the other funds where basically all the money's at risk. There is a synthetic sitting here that's worth a combined 4.7 million, and then there's these options that are worth a combined 236,000. So you're looking at basically 5 million out of the 117 million is what's making you money. So that's kind of comforting. And these are trading on some pretty serious stocks, right? Google, Apple, Amazon, most of these, they're not going anywhere. They've got, let's see which one we just said that they closed. The 175s. Okay, so those 175s were too far out of the money. They wanted to make more money. They didn't like that 4%, so they brought closer. But we got 1.1 and 2.6% out of the money. So Alphabet closing under 170 would make out to be the best case scenario for keeping the most premium. So okay, last two. Microsoft, no trades so far this week, so they're doing okay. Part of Group C, they just declared last week. You got 3 weeks more till their next declaration. There's 6.8 million outstanding shares with 118 million being managed in the fund. The synthetic position is for July 18th at 435. We're sitting almost $30 above that, so that's very nice. It's worth $7.7 million or over $1 per share when they do close that out, if all things staying the same. And they're playing these real nice and close. 465 and 467.50 are the calls, about 50% more at the closer strike price. They are 0.25% and 0.75% out of the money. So one big day and they're in trouble. But you got to play these bigger companies that are less volatile. It's 18% is their 30-day IV. So they don't move that big unless something major happens. But so we'll see. They're doing well so far. And finally, NFLY, their first trades for the week came today, where they had to close out their $1,217.50 calls. They broke it up into two groups of $350 and $406. Had to pay $21.62 and $24.20 for them because Netflix had a big day. That cost a lot. That hurt. Overall, rolling up to $1,250 on the new call strike price and $1,255, and then they also bought further out of the money calls to complete the spread, but they lost $1,275,000 on today's trades. Another one, I was on the phone while I was updating all my spreadsheets, so I missed putting the font back. Okay, they're also Group C, so you got paid last week for them. You got 3 more weeks before your next declaration day. There's 8.3 million outstanding shares, no change since our last video. $154 million being managed under the fund. For some reason, I think I've been saying 1,000 on these instead of million. Hopefully not. Hopefully you just know I'm tired and to ignore what I'm saying. Synthetic position is July 18th, 11:40. So with the stock closing at almost 12:40, they're $100 to the good. That's worth $10 million or well over $1 a share when that gets closed out. So if you're into these, when these July synthetics get closed out, you're going to get a nice distribution. But we talked about it. They had to close these out. They only closed out the 1217.50, so they were the furthest in the money, 1.79%. They went ahead and left the 1220s and the 1222.50s. They are also 1.5 and 1.3% in the money, so we're going to need a little bit of a pullback by the end of the week to not end up losing these trades. All right, I think that's all I have for you. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you deserve a dad joke of the day. If you're a subscriber already, I appreciate you very much. If you are not, please consider clicking the subscribe button, and that way you never have to search for these videos again. You can just click on your subscriptions and get updated anytime you want. If you're interested in buying into these funds, it's a great way to know what your money's doing, and if you already have them, it's a nice way to keep track. Obviously, you don't have that ability with every investment you make, so it's nice when you do have that. All right, dad joke of the day. It's off the calendar. My kids got me dad joke calendar. Not that funny, but got to do what we got to do. Why would doors do well on social media? Everyone looks for their handles. Yeah, that's pretty cheesy, but I might use it to tell you. Go over to my social media, ETF Inspector on X. I only really post repost YieldMax things or things about these YieldMax videos that I'm making. So, okay. Hope you made a profit today trading. Hope you have a good trading day tomorrow. And the next video for these individual funds will come Friday to see how we closed out for the week. So thank you and good night.